everybody, welcome to the second day of the Thompson Smiley Foundation ride from Pontriff to Cape Town. As you can see, we are riding in Nikki Thompson Art Outfits kits. She's one of the corporate sponsors. Thank you to Nikki for sponsoring a day. It's awesome. Today we started at Polokwane. We did the first 60 kilometers all on our mountain bikes, past some beautiful game farms. We swapped over, had a break, had something to eat. We swapped over onto our road bikes. We're now on our road bikes, heading towards Groblersdal, where we'll overnight at Groblersdal. Going's good, winds a bit up, but it's very warm out here today. The virtual ride, people, Renske Stoltz, the SA netball player, she's our virtual celebrity captain of the day. We ask you to join the virtual ride, enjoy the video footage, and enjoy riding with us. It's an absolute pleasure being out here, and it'll be a pleasure riding a virtual ride with you. Thanks for joining us, have fun. Bye.
We're so pleased to have Renske Stoltz join us, our Day 3 captain, Groblersdal to Delmas. Renske, wonderful to have you here. Thank you so much for being part of this initiative. What was your initial reaction when you were asked to join this, this foundation cause?
I think, well, I'm not the best cyclist yet. I always said that I'm going to do once I'm done with netball, that's what I'm going to go into. I think it's something you can do just for fun. Like I said, I don't want to be a professional rider, but yeah, to really stay active and yeah, just do it in the nature. So I was really excited about it. I think it's a really, really cool initiative, and it's for a good cause, obviously, which is great. So I'm very privileged to be a part of this.
Let's have a little chat about you and your netball career. Maybe take us to the beginning of your story. Where were you born? What school did you go to? How did the bug bite?
I was born in Nelspruit, Mbombela today. So yeah, I'm from that side of the country. And then my parents moved to Rustenburg in Northwest. So I grew up there from primary school to high school. So yeah, that's where I went to school. And I think that's where everything really started for me. From grade 1, I've played netball, and I've been a part of netball in Rustenburg. So yeah, that's kind of where my whole 12-year journey started, and from there just went bigger and better.
I must say, for me growing up, it was never an obvious choice for me because I was so short. You know, how important is the success of a netball player?
Well, I'm very short myself. I am 168, so yeah, that's not very tall. And I'm a goal attack, so I'm shooting, which is even worse for someone with my height. But I think for me, it has just never been a problem. I never saw it as a problem. Maybe some of my coaches did at a stage, but for me, I really trained hard, and I knew I had to bring something different because I don't have the height, and that's what became my strength. I think for me, my height really helped me to become the player that I am today. And yeah, so I don't regard height as the most important thing in netball. I know some people do, but I think there's not a perfect height in netball. You can be any height and still really become successful if you set your mind to it.
There goes my excuse. Renske, how were you so motivated though? Because I can imagine that your life as a netball player isn't that easy, especially when you've got some real giants towering over you.
For me, sport has always been part of my life. So my parents, my dad especially, really loves all kind of sports. So I grew up with sport. So for me, it was very natural. It's always been very natural, and I just really have I have very high standards for myself, and I think the moment I decided, well, that's what I'm gonna do and want to do, I really just stuck to it, and I really tried to work harder than everyone around me. Not that everyone is working really hard, but I really knew that I had to bring something different, like I said previously. So for me, the motivation has always been to be one of the best. And I had a dream from a very young age, shooting in my backyard, um, creating scenarios in my head about playing for South Africa in the World Cup final against New Zealand. And that was always from a very young age something that I dreamt about. So every time I end a shooting session, I would end with that in my head, that scenario, like creating that scenario in my head with thousands of people, even if it was just me in my backyard. And I think from there on, that was just something that I knew I would want to do. And that's what kind of motivated me.
I love that idea of visualization because it is so important. And if you can really latch onto that and use it as your motivation, then you're winning. I mean, I know even when I was training to do comrades many moons ago, and there were days when I didn't feel like running, I used to, in my mind, I used to play the soundtrack to Chariots of Fire. And all of a sudden, you are so motivated that anything is possible.
That's really true. And for me, there was a stage in my senior career that I stayed very far. I played netball at the Northwest University. So I was part of that club, but I stayed in Pretoria. So I didn't get to training that much. It was a bit far and we trained late at nights. And I really used that a lot. I really visualized during that year the most I've ever done. And that was one of my best seasons, which is very weird. I felt like I didn't train that much, but that component was really important and that pulled me through that season.
I love that. Renske, was there any person that you can recall? I know normally there are many people that, are part of your army that help you get to where you are, but is there anyone particular that really filled that role of mentor?
Definitely, like you say, there's a lot of people who really play a big part, and I have a really, really strong support system who I love a lot. So they all really played a big role. But one person in particular in my netball career was Taneli Skotse. She was the previous national coach, but I never played during the time that she coached. Once she was done, I left school and that's when my journey started. But I was lucky enough to work with her on her farm where she does netball clinics, and I worked there for a few years, and she really played a big role. She was the one believing in me when I needed a coach who really believes in me, and she was the one telling me that I can do anything and working with me and motivating me. And she helped me make big decisions in my netball career, which I don't think I would have made if she wasn't the one helping me and sending me into the right direction.
That's fantastic. Just having that someone, on your side and just, walking that walk with you is so important. Well, what would you say if you had to look back over your career? And I mean, I know you still are very much in the thick of things, but what has been the highlight for you? And have there been any really low moments that you've had to overcome? And what was the lesson you learned from that?
A lot of low moments. I think that's sport, or that's anything actually. You really get a few lows. So for me, something that stands out, which is strange because I was in primary school, and in primary school I was never selected for the A team, and that's strange because you think now, looking back, I'm like, it's not even a big deal, it doesn't matter. But as that 10-year-old girl, it was the end of the world, and it took me really long to get over that setback, which, like I say, today it sounds silly, but in that time it was really big for me, and that helped me create learn how to work with disappointments and how to keep working harder. And that's where my dad also played a big role. He was never at school you get parents who's very involved and very talking to, crying with the teachers and all of that. And my parents was very supportive, but they never stick their nose into my business. And he just said, work harder. And sometimes I was frustrated with that, but that really set the tone for the rest of my career. And then one of the big disappointments for me, I had a big dream to play in the Commonwealth Games, to be selected for the team in the Commonwealth Games. And 6 months before the Games, I was dropped out of the team, which was very bad for me. I'm like, that was my big dream. I wasn't even that pumped up for a World Cup, but Commonwealth Games was something I really wanted to be part of. And not lucky, that's the wrong word to use, but there was an injury and I got called up for the Commonwealth Games 2 weeks. That the team was already in Australia and I had to fly in from that. So a very big disappointment leading up to that, but eventually, luckily, it worked out for me to achieve that dream.
And would you say that then went on to be one of the highlights for you?
Definitely. I think that was just an unbelievable thing. Watching the Olympics earlier this month, or July, I thought, wow, I actually know what this is about. Olympics is a bit bigger than Commonwealth Games, but it's more or less the same, with the village and all the athletes from all different kinds of sport. And it's just something amazing to be a part of. So that was definitely a highlight for me. And then the World Cup, being part of the World Cup the next year, was also something that became really special. It wasn't that big of a dream before I reached the Commonwealth Games, but I'm very glad I could be a part of a World Cup as well. That is just something, I think, in any sport, if you can be part of a big event like that, it's something you can't describe to anyone.
Now, I see that you've plied your trade down under as well, spending a season with the Wasps in Australia. Tell us a bit about that.
Yes, I went over I was very hesitant to go, as I'm very close to my family and my friends. And so it was a bit tough for me to leave my country to go and play netball in a different country with different people, different culture. Really a big learning curve for me. For me personally, I'm very happy at home. After I've done that, I'm glad to be back, and I just love South Africa. I don't think I'll ever be able to leave. But I'm very fortunate to have been selected in a international franchise team, which is something that a lot of players in South Africa really dream about. So that was special to me. It was just I'm glad I've done it, but I won't go back again.
No place like home.
Yeah, that's so true. And you won't understand it until you really, really feel it.
Renske, tell us a little bit about where you are in your netball career at the moment. What was the impact of COVID, and how did you get through all of that?
I think COVID had a big effect on all aspects of life, and so many people's lives were disrupted and changed forever. To me, it was bad because our netball got stopped for a really long period of time, like all other sports. And it was a bit tough to really keep motivating yourself if you don't know what's next and when will the next big event happen. Luckily, I'm training at a really good facility who really motivates people, and we're a great group of people who works together, and they are just amazing in that sense. So they really kept us motivated and kept us on the right track, so that when they say, okay, we're going again, we would be ready. So I never felt like I won't be ready if we have to start again. But it was really a long period of time without netball, which was really bad. But I think at this stage, I'm on the brink of retiring. I haven't announced anything yet or all of that. But for me, I think there comes a time when you've done what you wanted to done, and it's time to carry on. It's difficult. I don't think you'll ever know that it's the right time. It's been something that's been a part of my life for over 20 years. So it's hard to make that decision. But I think, I'm praying about it a lot, and I'm really just hoping that I'll make the call at the right time. But for me, there's a next chapter in my life that's really important as well. I love coaching netball, and I love being a part of that aspect of the game as well. So being able to really get involved in that and to work with young children and to make their netball dreams become a reality, or just help them reach their full potential, is something that I'm very excited about for the next 50 years.
Oh, but that's wonderful. It's wonderful to know that you won't be lost to netball, because I think it's so important that we reinvest in the process and building the sport for future generations. But how much of your identity is locked up in being an international netball player? I think a lot of people are driven by that, and all of a sudden when the door closes on that, they feel a little bit lost.
And that's exactly where I'm at this stage. I never wanted netball to become my identity. I never wanted people to say Renske the netball player, because I think there's so much more than that to me. But that happens automatically. That's just what it's like. People know you because of netball. Even family, when we visit our family, it's how's the netball going? And I'm like, there's a bit more to me than just netball. But people, I think it's a good thing in a sense. They really, I think it's a bit of admiration at a stage where you've really reached high in your career that not a lot of people get the privilege to do. So it's a package and it comes with it. So for me now, I'm like, what are people going to ask me now when I get to family gatherings? Are they going to, because there's no more netball, so what will the discussions be like now? But yeah, like I say, for me it's about really making a difference, and I think that's something that netball changed for me. The becoming Renske the international player really helped created a platform for me to become a coach and to really make a difference on that platform, as well as, like I said, I don't think I'll ever want to coach the national team, but working with school children and young kids who really needs a mentor and someone who can motivate them and be someone they can really trust and rely on, is something that I'm very excited about. And yeah, I think that might be my purpose.
Yeah, exactly. And what sort of coach do you think you will be? I mean, are you very analytical in terms of, really breaking down play? Do you like working with the girls one-on-one? What would your style be?
For me, I love the analytical part of the game. I really want to understand exactly where everyone should go, and to I won't say to create a game plan, but to really give people the ability to see different options. And that's really important for me. I want to be a coach who can allow players to have freedom on court to really be themselves, as not everyone is the same and every player is different, but also to really direct them into the right direction so that they feel comfortable on court knowing that they know what to do, and they don't feel like, what's happening now. I love working with players one-on-one as well. That's important for me. I think, especially being a senior player, all the different aspects, and that one-on-one coaching is just as important as the team coaching. One-on-one time is time that you can really work on a player to help them with their weaknesses, to really strengthen them in every aspect so that they can become a really I don't know what the word is, but a volmaakte player in the end, so that they can really do everything and have the skill set to really overcome any opponent or situation on court.
Tell us a little bit about ways in which you stay fit, healthy, aside from your netball training. Was there any other sport that perhaps also caught your eye? What do you enjoy doing now on the side?
I love playing squash. Squash is something that really helps with netball as well. The short and quick movement and change of direction is something that before a big tournament, me and my friends really used to play a bit of squash so that we can just be ready and a bit nippier before we go on court. So that's something I love. I love tennis as well. So yeah, I've played tennis for a long period of time. So I love that. And then I used to play hockey, but I still really, that was in primary school, and now watching hockey, I'm like, I don't really understand everything. So yeah, I used to do it, but I don't think that's something. But tennis and squash is stuff that I really enjoy, and like I said, I would really want to go into cycling after school just to be in the nature. And every time when people go on the weekend and they go for a mountain biking trial, or they drive with their friends, it looks like so much fun, and the photos and all of that. So that's really something that I think once I have time for that, I would do that to just stay fit and just stay active.
Yeah, they certainly do sell it, hey, because the photos are also I find very, very attractive. It's like maybe I should take up cycling.
I know, but then I've done it a few times, and I'm like, it's not that much fun. But maybe once you get used to it, and once you get better, it will be the picture they sell.
Now, aside from all of that, what do you like to do for fun? How do you unwind? Where do you go on holiday? What are your favorite foods, your favorite drinks? Give us the Renske away from the serious stuff.
So my favorite place to go on holiday would definitely be an overseas trip. I think that's something that netball created. It just shows you so much of the world and places that I still want to see and have seen and would go back to. So my favorite place that I've ever visited is Paris in France. I know people have mixed feelings about it. Some people say, oh, it's the worst place, and some say it's the best. For me, it was the best. So I really loved it. And then, yeah, I love a beach holiday as well. Jeffreys Bay is one of my favorite places, just to really relax and, yeah, just be part of the chilled vibe over December holiday. And then, yeah, my favorite drink is a chai latte and the tea. That's especially at Woolworths, that's my all-time favorite. And then favorite food depends on the season. In summer it would be sushi. In winter it would be something like a pizza or just something hot. But yeah, that's a bit of me. So yeah.
Thank you for that. Also, if we can just focus a little bit on the Thompson Smiley Foundation cycle tour. Obviously, education is at the heart of why these guys are going on this crazy long ride to raise those funds. How important is it for you, if you just look at education, in determining the success of the future of a country?
That's really important. I know everyone says that, but I think apart from the education itself, it's about the environment that education creates. A place where kids can really feel safe and can feel that that's somewhere where they belong, and somewhere where I know there's so many kids who don't have great home circumstances, and things are really tough, and that's somewhere where school and teachers and all of that can really become someone who can motivate those people to get out of their circumstances and to really go further in life. And I think without our education system, that won't be possible, and people will, or children will, just follow in the footsteps of their parents, which might not always be where they would want to end up with. But education system creates opportunities for them to really become something better and bigger than what they would have become without it. So apart from the physical education, like the maths and all of that, which is obviously important, I think it's more about the environment and really showing people that there's a better life. And yeah, that's what's important for me. I think without an education system, we will be a hopeless country. People will just not know what there is in life and what other opportunities they would have. So that's why education is really important for me.
Wonderful. The two full bursary recipients, Kara and Melody, I think their lives are going to be changed after this. Do you have a message for those two girls?
I would just really want them to use this opportunity that they get and to make the best out of it. There's so many people who wants to give them everything and wants them to become brilliant and successful, and they get the opportunity. They're very fortunate to get this opportunity. Not a lot of people get it, and I would love them to make the best of it and to use it and to say thank you every day, to pray to God and say thank you for the opportunity and thank you for allowing me to get this opportunity. And I think if they're thankful every day for what they received and grateful and stay grateful, that will definitely then help them to become very successful one day, because they know that they have to make it work and they have to use what they got and make the best out of it.
Indeed. Shem, thank you so much for that message. But Renske, it's been wonderful chatting to you. I wish you all the best with the big decision that you're going to be making and the timing of it. And I'm sure you'll get it just right. But thank you for your time. And maybe we'll see you out on the mountain bike sometime.
Thank you for having me. It was really a privilege talking to you. And yeah, you never know. I don't think I'll do this whole cycling tour soon. There'll have to happen a lot of things before I take on something as big as this. But you never know. Maybe one day I'm between all of the cyclists.
Small steps.
Small steps.
Okay, Renske, have a beautiful day, hey?
Thank you. You too. Enjoy your day.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah.
Everything about you calling out to me, I got to hold ya. Everything about you calling out to me, I got to hold ya.
We'll be right back.